The show where there are no penalties, nothing is offside, and everything is fair game. This is The Gloves Are Off.
Welcome to another edition of The Gloves Are Off. I'm Moses Woldu, and we got a great show for you. Of course, a lot of controversy and a lot of great plays and no water squirting, we promise. Remember that. Henrik Lundqvist, remember that. Sean Thornton, of course, getting fined. Now, speaking of fines, this man has paid plenty of them.
Get me a water bottle. Get me a water bottle.
There we go. Yeah. Greg Buchanan, how's it going?
Not too bad.
Excellent. I'm pleased to be joined by the Lloyd FM morning show co-host. Of course, you've done a lot of great stuff. You also have a sports show with the man sitting right beside you. And you are Brandon Basler. What's going on?
2 nights in a row putting up with him. It's a struggle, but happy to be here. Got up a little bit late this morning. Didn't have a chance to do my hair, so I apologize for the viewers.
Yeah,
radio,
yeah.
You know, they say I got a face for radio, so this TV thing's a little bit iffy. But happy to be here.
All right. Well, you know what? We'll get to the topics. And I know you guys are certainly excited for it because I am, especially with Mr. Donald Sterling going on Anderson Cooper 360 the other night and trying to pretty much tell people and tell the world, look, I'm not racist. And by telling someone you're not racist, the best thing to do is, I guess, show how racist you are. Of course, some of the comments included saying how it seemed like he was in a lot of denial. Maybe it's, I don't know if it's due to old age or what, but he says the players, they love him. They still love him. Sponsors, they have no problem with him at all. Everything is fine. It's just the media that's blown this up. Even the players reversing their jerseys. He said it was only one individual or two individuals, and it just pressured the whole team. I don't know where he got that, but that was his logic. Also, the criticism of Magic Johnson towards his, well, he said that he had AIDS, which he doesn't. He has HIV, which is distinctly different. Guys, do you feel that he's actually put his best foot forward or completely put his, never mind his foot, both feet in his mouth?
You know, in sports and in life, I guess, too, people are often quite easily forgiven for things they do and things they say. I'm not saying he would have been completely forgiven, but just when I started to forget about this guy, he just threw himself right back under the bus.
You know, the thing is, he was trying to swift the change from him to Magic Johnson, you know, almost like that kid that got caught doing something, and you know what, look at my brother, but look what he did, look what he did. And that's what he did with Magic Johnson.
It was a poor choice by bringing up what he did when he's referring to the guy having AIDS, sleeping around with many women the way he did. And of course, like I understand professional athletes, it's what happens, right? Guys have certain girls around, or certain girls come up towards them.
That's not right, though.
Saying,
it's not saying
as
it's
an
right.
example. No, I'm not saying exactly. It's not right. But the way he conducted himself, does this guy deserve a second, or in this case, third chance?
See, I do have some issues with Magic Johnson and everything else that he did prior to where he is right now in his life. At the same time, he should be very careful the rocks that he throws at a glass house because he lives in one in himself. And I think Magic Johnson is a guy that, you know, he does some questionable things, and now he seems to be a lot better person because of it. But at the same time, his past is always going to be there.
But it seems like Sterling hasn't learned those mistakes, right?
No, I think he's just trying to pass the blame off to somebody else, which is completely a different topic and a whole other can of worms.
He's trying to pass the buck off, you know, and people aren't going to forgive him anytime
Should have just
soon.
wrote a statement apologizing, you know, give it time, let people, you know. It's a totally different situation again, but I think about Tiger Woods, how much everybody hated him, and it seems like everything that he did, which had nothing to do with the sport, which is kind of different. You know, people forgot about that, though.
Oh, well,
should have gave it some time.
I don't know how they're going to forget about this.
Not anymore.
If, well, especially considering it's all live in public. Let's talk about a game that certainly wasn't forgettable for the Montreal Canadiens. What a performance, coming back down 3-2, and the way they performed. Carey Price stood on his head, making great saves, and they got timely play from all the players, even Andrew Markov, making a hit on Milan Lucic, which was quite funny to actually watch. But knowing what happened, and towards the game, or later towards the game, you started seeing the Montreal Canadiens starting into a bit of fisticuffs. You saw them going after Zdeno Chara, some going after Milan Lucic, several times, punching him in the face, that extracurricular stuff that Boston is known for. I know, Basler, you like using the term
don't
say it.
Don't say it.
I know you like using that term. Have the Canadiens, after Game 6, poke that bear, and are they in danger of losing Game 7?
Thank you for using that line. We should thank Don Cherry for starting poking the bear. That's where that came from. But I don't think that's what it would take to poke the bear. I think Boston would be ready to play Game 7 regardless of what happened at the end, right? This is Game 7 in their home rink. I don't think they needed any extra motivation.
The Bruins are bullies. And you're supposed to sit back. Don Cherry thinks you should just sit back and take it and not push back because you're just going to get these guys mad. Forget it. I'm not going to get pushed around in my own rink. Stand up to him. And that's what Montreal did. I like the fact, you know what, one guy that's really, and I wasn't a big fan prior to the playoffs, and we talked about him being on the Olympic team, was PK Subban. You know what, I got a lot of respect for him now, and the way that he's played, and he's become one of the best defensemen in the NHL, if not in the game of hockey right now, because of the way he's played in the playoffs.
Boston, they're agitators, they're aggressive, they're mean, they're bullies, you might say, but the way you deal with that is you start scoring those power play goals. And you look at Montreal last night, they took advantage of some opportunities, and if all of a sudden you're taking advantage of those opportunities, all of a sudden Boston maybe isn't making all those bully plays.
They seem to have a step on them too. But I want to get to that whole bully aspect, and we'll move on to what happened with Sean Thornton and the whole Watergate. Now it's happened multiple times, not just in the Bruins Habs series, but you also saw it with LA with Corey Perry taking on Jeff Carter. Although that seemed, albeit a little more friendly than you saw what happened to Henrik Lundqvist, who recently got fined as well for his dumping of the water, cooling down, shall we say, of Sidney Crosby while he was in a scrum towards the end of a period. Guys, do you feel that this is more gamesmanship, or is this kind of getting a little dirty in offense?
Childish, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, like, why? Like, out of all the things you can do to make somebody mad or to do something in the game, spray them with water, like, to me, it's just stupid.
But you know what? In the playoffs, as playing and also managing, you end up really having a hate for the other team you're playing against. You're playing against them so many times over so many nights, and after a while, you're just trying to get that edge on them. And it can be as silly as spraying water on them, as stupid
flexing
as
your muscle.
Flexing your muscle. It's just trying to get into their heads, and not saying that's as an excuse, but at the same time, you have to kind of forgive these guys, and they act like little kids because that's the way you act when you're really hating a team, and you just want to get that little edge on them.
Maybe it's because of the whole new playoff format. Those rivalries are starting to come back, much like they did back in the early 80s, or 80s, 70s, and early 90s. We'll see what happens in the future with that. When we return from our break, we're going to have more on Marty St. Louis, the New York Rangers, and Game 7. Of course, can they, with all that's happened and transpired with St. Louis, move on to the next round?